Okay, let's move on. I'm going to pair two players together that I think we can just say get rid, get gone. Brian Hill, Manor Solomon. Anyone going to disagree
Oh,
with that? Should we keep either of those? Ross is already saying I have no interest in talking about this. Right, anybody got anything to say?
Next.
No, let's move on. Okay,
thank you, but
let's
no,
talk
thank
about
you.
some creativity in midfield. I think creativity in midfield has been a massive area that we've absolutely missed, and I think it's an area where you need to find a serious amount of balance. We've been linked to Ryan Cherky this summer, and I've seen Ryan Cherky play, and I've said previously it's like playing with 10 when you're defender, but playing when 12 when you're attacking. And we can't play with 10 when we're defending.
Mm.
Ryan Cherky would need to learn how to defend when he's playing with us. So let's talk creative midfielders. Dejan Kulusevski and James Maddison. Charlie, you seem like the obvious person to go to because I think you and I may be on the same lines here.
Well, look, Madison's come in for some serious stick, not just from Roy Keane, but Rory Jennings, who I actually listen to Rory Jennings quite a lot, even though he's quite inflammatory. He had some good points about Postecoglou, and I just think that Madison is a great pretender. I think it's an act half the time with Madison. I think he's acting like a top player, and I think that he is. I think he's batting above his weight with Spurs, to be honest, and I think he's grateful to be here. I just don't think he's. I don't think in a million years we're going to sell him. And that's the tough thing. It's like I don't think we would do something like that. I don't think anybody at the club is wise and wily enough to realize that Maddison isn't a, a good enough player for us, and he isn't pulling the strings, and he doesn't dictate. To be a senior leader, you have to stamp yourself on games he goes missing. I'm not saying he doesn't score key goals sometimes, but it's not consistent enough. And just like that number six position, that number 10 position has to be a nailed on. I hate to talk about Arsenal, but Odegaard has made that position his own. And I believe that we need that. We need that. And he's just in and out. I don't even know who you get in. Kulusevski for me was a surprise of the beginning of last season because he came in and he looked like a really, really great 10. I don't know why he plateaued. Obviously, there was the issue with all the injuries, but I still think that he is in that position, one of the best player we've got right now. I don't think that Bergval's a 10. So I would love to see again all the money be spent on these attacking positions. Aside from the number six, I think we need a number 10 as well. And I don't think it's going to happen, but I would love to get 35, 40 million from Madison and invest that in another number 10, even if it's a young player.
Well,
David,
just to say that I completely agree. I think James Maddison's a decent chap. I think he's actually all right-ish as a 10, but he's not at the level we need him to be. And I think he's more suited to a team that doesn't play possession football as well. That setting up counter-attacks, and I don't think that's worked for him under Ange. I don't think Ange actually trusts him all that much anymore. He was regularly left out of the team in the second half of the season, really very regularly. So I totally agree. I would like to see James Maddison upgraded to somebody that will push Dejan Kulusevski to the bench or have Dejan Kulusevski fighting for his place. That's what we need to be aiming for now, not good vibes.
yeah.
Someone coming in and really creating chaos in that front there. There were so many times this season where the possession football that we were playing was unbelievably sterile. Unbelievably sterile. We could not break down a low block. And we need someone that can pick blocks. And James Maddison isn't that person. So yeah, sadly I agree with Charlie.
You
100%.
got to look at what PS. I mean, if you weren't playing for Spurs, and you didn't look at how PSG advanced the ball through the midfield during the last six games of their Champions League campaign, the way that they don't pass the ball back to the defense, they find that angle ball that goes from 8 into 10. We don't like that was Ange ball in the first 10 games. That was what was happening. Every ball was going forward. And for some reason, you see Maddison back in the left back position, and you're like, what the fuck are you doing there? Like, that's not where you should play. Like, you're not that metronomic player that that the number 6 should be. Like, get forward. And the midfield was the biggest letdown this season. I just everything just got so sterile when we were passing it through the middle. I just don't understand where this Ange from. I can only imagine it's a personnel thing. I can't imagine that he's completely reverted to a tactical sort of like, low block. Because that's what it looked like.
Yeah.
Ange Wall.
All right, Marcel, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think I agree with everyone else about Maddison. Very disappointing after he came in with a big flourish, and everyone thought he was great, but it tapered off very quickly after that, and he's never really got back to any heights since then. And people were saying, why isn't he getting into the England squad? Well, he can't even get into the England squad, so I think that speaks a lot, says a lot, doesn't it?
Pretty good point, yeah.
So
I think sadly the Leicester City fans have been proven right.
Yeah. We need an upgrade there, I think.
The Leicester City fans. Go on.
So it's going to cost a lot of money, but then Levy's going to have to get his checkbook out if Levy's still there. I think he will be, of course. But there's all these rumours going about Levy stepping down, etc., etc. I don't buy that for 1 minute. I think the more likely scenario is that maybe there's a takeover on the cards somewhere. But what I heard in the past was that Levy would want to stay on as CEO anyway, at least for a changeover period. So anyway, whatever happens, someone's got to get the checkbook out. Buy some quality.
The checkbook for someone experienced. I don't want any more kids this season.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Some quality there.
I think we need to bring in some young players every season. We need to continue with that because so many years we've concentrated on bringing in players who are, they're ready now. It's just left us with a real hodgepodge of a squad and left us very badly off for our European setup. If we're going to be serious about having some kind of effect in Europe, we need to have homegrown players. So every year, we need to be looking at bringing 1 or 2 players in or making sure that they're coming in the future. So players like Mason Melia, will be coming in a couple of years' time. Others as well, apparently, we're going to be lining them up. So that's what we need to continue doing. But at the same time, we do need to bring in experienced players.
Yeah, we brought in one first team player last summer. It was just nothing like the right mix. Nothing like it.
Yeah, to be clear, we need 4 or 5 starters coming in this window, and that means that they're experienced players who have largely got Premier League experience. I mean, last year was, like you said, David, that was a blooding of youth, and so many of those players got some really good time, and we were in really good stead there. But we were clearly lacking in the experience department, and I think that's because we don't go top dollar for experience. We go sort of half dollar, or we get a cheeky deal like a Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, who's never really in or out the team. And it needs to be like straight quality now. And if you don't see it, then we don't have ambition for it.
No more opportunistic, cheeky chappy signings. Either. No more Solomon signings where you get him just because he signed to Ukraine, it's like Maddison. All this sort of rubbish. Just get rid of it. It's a waste
annoying.
of
Johnny Cardoso, I mean, great that you've got that you're always looking to cut a deal. Get the best players in, and it will just rejuvenate the fan base and totally.
Exactly.
I just don't know if it's going to happen while he's in charge, So I for one, Marcel, do hope that he is stepping aside, at least in terms of running the club, and that we do get some money in, because that's the only time it would change.
I think there is definitely some space for us to become a more serious club. But if we do that, then Ross is going to have real trouble making fun of us online. So, Ross, what are your thoughts?
I think you're gonna find it hard
You'll
to
always
set.
find something to talk about.
Don't shut up. Um, I think the Maddison situation is an interesting one. He's shown he had a really good Europa League. It's just obviously he missed the final through injury. He's not been consistent and he is frustrating. He's like a throwback to the 90s players, that would be do something great and then just not do anything for 88 minutes. And it's very frustrating because these days you need everyone to be everywhere. Is Dejan number 10? It's really hard to say because, again, because of injuries, we never had a settled side. Finding these Premier League players is hard. I mean, you're looking at maybe is Jack Grealish going to leave Man City, but would you want him at Spurs? I suppose you could go out abroad. Is Arda Güler getting enough minutes at Real Madrid? Danny Olmo, do they need to sell Barcelona? I haven't really looked into that yet. They seem to be financially fine. But again, I mean, Kobbie Mainoo, is he going to leave Man United? It's hard because they're keeping Bruno Fernandes. So does that limit his chances? It's so hard to it's easy to get rid. It's hard to get in. And then that makes the getting rid even harder because the players want the same wages or more. And as you said earlier on, Stu, we don't have these Saudi Arabian links that other clubs do, like Chelsea, Man City, and others. It's so hard. I think it was Charlie said about Odegaard. That was a risk. He was a teenage sensation that couldn't break into Real Madrid. That might be Real Madrid's fault. And it took him, but he only scored one goal from open play all season. He's a great player, don't get me wrong. That hurts me saying that because he's Arsenal. But, it's so hard to find these players because, as you said, Ryan Cherky got mentioned, but he might be going to Man City. Florian Wirtz is going to Liverpool any minute now. And that pool of players is so condensed as well. It's not like it was 25, 30 years ago where you could pick someone from anywhere and grab them. Spurs have only just got back into the Champions League, but I don't want players just to join us because we're in the Champions League. I want them to join us because they want to play for Spurs. But it's so hard. So Maddison, if we get a decent bid in, sell him. Obviously keep Decky, but getting someone in is going to be so hard. The only one I can think of the top of my head is a Güler loan from Real Madrid, unless they want to sell him, or Kobbie Mainoo if he is to leave Manchester United. Apart from that, I've not got any names. I'm trying to look through everything. Just got no names coming at me, but yeah.
Güler with a loan with an obligation to buy would work just fine, I think. Okay, we're going to go Ash and then Kjetil to finish off this section, and then we will talk about two more young players before we talk about the leadership group. Ash.
I've been all great comments here. I'd love to have a game changer in our team, and I don't think we do unless Berrival evolves into that. Remember when we had Eriksson and Delhi? They were game changers, and they were like lightning in a bottle, and they were exciting. Be great to have somebody in the midfield there to excite us like those guys did, or Gaza previously. I don't know if it's within our team or we have to get that. I just want some more excitement in that midfield, as Dave was talking about how we would just fall into the trap, the slump of just passing the ball backwards or back and forth and whatever, and just unexciting. Mm-hmm. It would be great to find some lightning in a bottle. I'd love that, something to be excited about. We're in such a good position in terms of the money we're making, at least 80 million, not even counting the revenues from at least 4 games in the Champions League. We're in such a good position, and let's take advantage of it. Yes, I actually think some investment stuff might be going on, which is holding up everything else. And some investment would really help us perhaps find that game changer. Or, it would be great if that was going on behind the scenes right now.
We really do have
to.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think what Maddison does not have is the ability to run the full complete 90 minutes game, like for example Ericsson did, to dictate the tempo, dictate the way we attack, the direction we attack, and to, of course, unlock the box when the opposition parks the bus. Maddison can't do that. He cannot, like, he can find those passes and he can find those shots. He can find, but it's in flashes and in moments, in short periods of time. He looks very, very good, and then uh, and that sometimes that's enough to win us the game, and that's kind of an illusion, isn't it? That we are tricked into wanting him to be such a fabulous player. I'm not sure. I would like to. Yeah, if we get a good bid, we could sell him, of course. But I think we need to have another one. Decky is more a utility player, winger, central. Even if he's as a false number 9, he can. So he's a unique player for us, and with a good shot and both legs and all that. But none of them is that maestro, is the word I was looking for. We need a new Ericsson, a new maestro. If we
Mike Tyson once said, everybody's got a plan for the fight until they get punched in the face. And I think James Maddison is a great player until he gets kicked, at which point he goes out of the game. First time he hits the ground, grabbing hold of his shins, you know he's done. Charlie, I know you want to jump in one more time. Come on.
Well, I just feel that as we did finish 17th this year, it's important to note that we need a serious upgrade on the entire squad if Ange's going to stay in charge, to actually get back, because the most important thing is that we stay in Champions League, which is we need to improve 12 places better than last year. Like, you can't have it both ways. You can't keep the squad the same and, risk what is probably an Ange issue in terms of hamstrings and another deluge of injuries. We have to be we have to be really, really dynamic in the transfer market this year. If we're not, and Ange is there next year, then all this work has been undone. Something has to change. Either Ange has to go, or the whole squad needs a renovation. And I hate to say that because Maddison is party liaison about the guy, and he's like, looks like Mr. Tottenham because he's front and center, but somebody has to make that call. And I just don't know. I mean, I don't know. I just don't know if it's going to happen. And I would hate to be here next year just thinking this is a waste. We were in the Champions League with all this revenue, and we squandered it because we weren't willing to make big calls.
I don't think Ange trusts Maddison. I don't think he trusts him. I think Ange, if he's staying, will probably want to replace him. I'm basing that on the number of times he wasn't selected, but was available.
Yeah, he did get left out a few times.
Yeah, and got hurt quite regularly, quite early. So I don't think Ange trusts him.